Hi everyone, I'm Logan Clements, freelance event producer, and today I'm excited to bring you another installment of my favorite tips and tricks when it comes to event planning and running your own business. Following on the theme of last week's video where I talked about my 3 biggest lessons I learned in 2020 for events, I'm going to tackle that same kind of topic, but with the 3 biggest lessons I learned as a business owner this year in 2020. If you missed last week's video, I'll link below, I'll link it here, so you can click it and watch it. If you're an event person, I highly recommend it, or if you're a company that even has events, even if you're not the event person running it, I recommend checking it out. And without further ado, we're going to get into the content. Before I get started, I know I teed that up a little bit. Please don't forget to like, subscribe below, turn on that little notification bell so you get notified every single Monday when I drop new videos. I'll be talking about everything about events, running your own business, virtual stuff, all of the things. And then if you also want to hop over to my website, loganstrategygroup.com, I have a monthly newsletter where I send out updates of what I'm working on, even more free event tips and resources, and just things that are making me happy, like what I'm reading or cooking or anything that's making me happy. So jump on over there and check it out. So the first of my 3 things that I learned as a business owner in 2020 is self-marketing is key. Now, I'm sure self-marketing is not the industry term that people want you using, but for me, the way I had to phrase it is self-marketing. I love doing client work. I love helping clients bring their vision to life, creating fun and engaging and entertaining events, and having attendees have a really good time, or what I was doing pre-COVID of entertaining people in sports stadiums. Nothing tickles me more than a very good dance cam or a really funny mascot moment. Anyway, but this year, with COVID and everything, threw a wrench in those plans. And so I really had to rely on self-marketing in a way that I hadn't had to before. And when I say self-marketing, it means I'm focusing on marketing myself. This is my 4th year as a business owner. I've gone through phases of marketing myself as Logan Clements. I've gone through phases of marketing myself as Logan Strategy Group. But I've really found this sweet spot, I feel like, this year, where I'm really just kind of owning myself and trying to promote more of what I'm doing. And I've realized that doing that kind of marketing, whether it's this YouTube channel that I launched earlier this year, my monthly newsletter that I plugged earlier that I send out every month to past clients and friends and colleagues, or if it's even just keeping LinkedIn up to date. So I found these kind of things to be super crucial, and didn't realize how crucial they were till I had a friend a couple weeks ago ask me how I got my last 3 clients, and I walked through it and I said, oh wow, okay, one was linked to some of my YouTube videos because I was able to share with them my knowledge and they liked it and they ended up booking me. Another was through my newsletter. They liked what they saw of an event that I did for someone else and said, I want to do that event. And my last one was through LinkedIn, where they just reached out on LinkedIn asking if I'd help them with virtual events, which to me, it's like I'm putting these things out in the ether and sometimes it feels like you're not getting anything back. And I know I definitely felt that way pre-COVID. Whenever I did any kind of marketing, that I was just pushing it out there, but no one's really booking me from it. It's not really a thing. And now this year I found it takes time, but being consistent and continuing to showcase what I'm doing, whether it's people finding me organically through these channels or just giving myself content so that when I get a lead from someone or a potential client that says, hey, I have this problem, can you help me solve it? I now have newsletter copy, I have videos, I have posts that I can also link in my email response to them just to reiterate that I know what I'm talking about. So if you're a small business owner and have shied away from putting yourself out there and really self-promoting in a way that I know still I have my days where it really is hard, but I really couldn't speak higher of it. And especially in a climate like we are right now with a lot of small businesses struggling, I really would emphasize doing something as easy as even going on Facebook Live or Instagram Live or YouTube Live and just talking. If it's easier to do that than prep a video or prep something, adding that personality to your brand, I think is just going to help you stick around for years and years to come. So don't be afraid to self-market. My next business lesson for 2020 was surround yourself with good mentors and advisors. I cannot stress this year how much this has been crucial to me of surviving such a crazy year that 2020 has been. I had a mentor through an official mentorship program with Wise Seattle, Women in Sports and Events Seattle. It was amazing. Shout out to Jen. She's awesome. She was key in helping me back in May when I started freaking out of what to do with my event experience and how to pivot into the virtual world. And I was ready to go gung-ho in with Weddings by Logan. I was going to be a virtual wedding planner, in-person wedding planner. And she had that key moment with me where she said, Logan, when you're back to doing in-person stuff, do you want to be doing weddings or do you want to go back to doing sports and production? And I was like, sports and production, that's what I love. I love helping couples, but I also really, really like sports make me happy. So I was like, okay, how do you take that production knowledge and create content that maybe applies to couples, but really still applies to what you want to do? And I have never looked back on a moment of advice and felt like that was more, it steered me in my course more than that comment did. So thank you, Jen. I also had these pivotal mentors through SCORE, which is the free mentorship service that's a branch of the SBA, the Small Business Administration. Link below. You need to go to SCORE if you haven't and you're a small business owner. It's free advice from advisors. You can do one-off meetings. You can have a more sustained relationship. I have two great supporters in April and Hal, my two SCORE mentors, who've just also helped me process and work through different challenges I've had as a business owner. Especially, I've moved from being abroad and having a Philadelphia-based business to now opening my Seattle branch of my business. And they have been very helpful both with that regard and with that earlier point I had about self-marketing. I have to credit them with also pushing me really hard to just do it versus sitting there and thinking about it. I also have an amazing group of women that I've met through a meetup group called Girl Boss Seattle. When I moved to Shanghai years ago, meetup was the first way that I started to make friends outside of my coworkers, and I did that same strategy when I moved to Seattle and stumbled upon this amazing group of women business owners. We used to meet up in person. Now we've been doing it virtually, but these women are inspirational and have been super helpful where we talk about what we've been working on the last couple weeks. We also bring up challenges we're having, and even if it's not you having to voice your challenges, just listening to other business owners work through things that resonate with you has been super powerful. So find those people. Find your mentors, whether it's through an official mentorship program like I did with Wise, or it's through SCORE where you're seeking out the mentors yourself, or a meetup group and just having friends and family and partners that you can lean on to talk to through this time. Those have been so crucial for me through this year. And my last and key takeaway from 2020 was to be flexible. I know I used the P word earlier of pivot, and I definitely a couple months ago was like all about saying I pivot, but I really think, and I say this with my speakers, I say this with my event colleagues doing virtual events or in person, the key is to be flexible. You need to be able to roll with the punches and just kind of go with it. And this year, my calendar looked very different in January than it's now looked in December. It went from having lots of things booked to everything canceled, postponed to canceled to now new things being booked. And so I think if you as a business owner can really just think about how can you continue to evolve and challenge yourself and grow and invest in little things that'll help move the needle, even if it's not as much as we thought we would this year, but just like a little bit. I think that's key. And I know a big trend for this year has been just self-care and understanding that we all need time to recharge and reboot. I've definitely tried to prioritize that a little bit more. For me, it's been as little as like sitting in front of my computer on Zoom calls all day has been a lot more exhausting than if I was running meeting to meeting, because maybe between meetings I was getting fresh air and up and walking around versus you can just sit here and Zoom to several different meetings back to back to back. And I've been able to trying to prioritize walks during the day, especially when the sun's still out. It's wintertime. It gets dark early. So taking those 30 minutes just to go outside and walk, or asking a friend that I have a call with, hey, can we just do a phone call? And I'll go outside and walk and get some fresh air while I'm talking to them. So thinking about ways that you can be both flexible as a business owner, but also still prioritize yourself and taking care of yourself, because it has been a crazy road. And I know it's still going to be crazy in the start of 2021, but if you can kind of find that balance between being flexible and adjusting what you're doing, but also still standing true to your guns and also still taking care of yourself, I think you're going to end up on top. And that's all I have for you guys. My 3 big takeaways as a business owner were it's self-marketing, or just marketing is key, especially if you can add your face to your brand, depending on what your business is, or you just add a personality to it. That's going to help you stick in people's minds. My favorite memory this year so far has been someone just out of the blue messaging me on Facebook saying, hey, I have something about virtual events I want to ask you about. And I was like, that means what I've been doing has stuck. We might not have talked directly, but what I've been posting and I've been making made you think of my name when you heard virtual events, which is pretty darn cool. The other one, surround yourself with mentors and advisors that you trust and different perspectives and different personalities. And you can find those yourself. You can apply for official mentorship programs. You can go on meetup.com, but find those people. They're going to be key in helping you through these tough times. And then the last one is stay flexible, but also take care of yourself, because it's going to be a long one. And we're in it for the long haul. It's been fun. I have a post, I'll link a link below, about how I think being an entrepreneur is like riding a roller coaster. And that has never been more true this year. So enjoy your holiday, stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys again in 2021. Bye, friends.